What's going on, guys? Mill with Tokusatsu here, and this is going to be a bit of a news video. I know I haven't done a news video in over a year, but I felt this was kind of big enough to actually bring me back into the fold. Plus, this is a bit of a video response to a live stream that Toku Chris and Eric from Ranger Command Power Hour did yesterday, and it's about the whole Amy Jo Johnson MMPR reboot tweet thing. So, if you're not aware, about a couple of days ago, Amy Jo Johnson sent a tweet expressing her, I don't know if you would say frustration, like, we don't know what happened exactly, but she sounds a bit bitter. But the tweet says, can I just say, I think it's dumb if the new Power Rangers universe doesn't use or acknowledge the OGs. Just saying, can I get an amen, hashtag Power Rangers, hashtag Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So she sounds a bit upset, almost as if, well, the popular fan theory is that it has something to do with David Yost's Quantum Continuum project, which is something he's been trying to pitch for a while. And it sounds like maybe he pitched the idea to Hasbro and they might have turned him down, because we know that Hasbro has their own plans for a Power Rangers reboot, but we don't have many details on it at this point in time. And we also know that Amy Jo and David Yost are good friends, so it makes sense that she would want to support her friend. Now, at the same time, this tweet caused a bit of a frenzy within the core PR fandom, like especially those who are sick of the constant MMPR pandering when it comes to certain elements of the show, like using Go-Go in the theme song for the past decade, or still using its Morphin Time, like just like relying on that MMPR nostalgia, especially for the toys or even apparel. Like most Power Rangers apparel you see in stores is MMPR themed. Like you don't really get anything for other seasons, and that's because MMPR is what sells to the mass audience, and Hasbro has said this themselves. And even I'll admit, like, I'm starting to feel that fatigue somewhat myself, but I do understand why they do it, though. But back to the point about Amy Jo. So, it sounds like she wants to play a role in the reboot somehow. And, really? Like, I know that whatever Hasbro has planned is most likely going to be MMPR themed, like, regardless of what they do. And if they somehow include cameos by the original cast, then it'd be nice, but I don't think it's necessary exactly. Like, the TV show and franchise right now as it is, I think pays more than enough respect to the past. Like, recently in Beast Morphers, like, we had Jason come back, and then Dino Fury kind of continues that trend. I mean, they even brought back Lord Zed this season as well, so MMPR gets more than its fair share of homage when it comes to whatever the franchise is doing. And I'm sure the reboot is going to find some way to pay respect to the past as well. Now, whether or not that's just, a simple reference or a full-on cameo, like, I'm not sure. I just know that the reboot doesn't need to depend on cameos from past actors to be successful. It just needs to be well written. And I feel like Amy Jo's tweet comes from a place of, for lack of a better term, ignorance, as to not being completely aware of what the franchise is doing right now, and just how much respect or homage they do pay to MMPR as it stands right now. Like, MMPR is kind of their cash cow. Like, with everything I just mentioned, like, you got Dino Fury once again. The comics have always been MMPR. I mean, there have been some slight deviations when you have, like, graphic novels like Time Force or In Space, but for the most part, it's been strictly MMPR. So I'm not exactly sure, like, what point she's trying to make here. Plus, someone else brought up a good point earlier as well. A+ More Phenomenal on his live stream just today, he mentioned how there was a point in time, and I remember this too, where she wanted nothing to do with the franchise. And I want to say she's been back in the fandom for about 5 to 6 years at this point. But I'm trying to say that in some cases, not all of them, because I have met Amy Jo Johnson myself, and she was pretty cool. But in some cases, it does seem like there is a bit of a monetary motive to her coming back into the fandom and just, like, trying to utilize her time as the Pink Ranger for everything it's worth. So, I'm not sure if she really has a voice to really make demands like this, unlike someone like JDF. Like, say what you will about JDF, but like, you have to admit, like, he's been there for the fandom. And you can just tell, like, he has a level of enthusiasm for the franchise. And for a while, he was Saban's golden boy. Like, he was always on the convention scene and always rallying to come back to the show in some way, shape, or form. And then you've also got his recent fan film, Legend of the White Dragon. While it doesn't interest me really, like, it's just another testament as to just how much enthusiasm he has for Power Rangers. And the same can't quite be said for Amy Jo Johnson. So, like, where is her animosity or argument coming from? And I do understand the fans who are sick and tired of just, like, the constant MMPR pandering, like I said. And I have no ill feelings towards Amy Jo at all. Like, I'm still a fan of hers, but I just feel like her tweet doesn't really come from a place of understanding, if that makes sense. Like, if she took a good look at the franchise now, she would know that MMPR is front and center. But whatever plans Hasbro has for the reboot going forward, like, I have hopes for it. I know that it's going to involve MMPR in some way. I just hope that it's good. Now, does it need a cameo from the OGs? No. Would it be nice? Yeah, but I'm not necessarily looking forward or placing my bets on it, you know? And whatever they end up doing, I just know that it needs to reach a wider audience if it wants to get anywhere. Because Power Rangers right now, to the general audience, doesn't have a really good perception. Like, it's still seen as that cheesy kid show from the 90s. And something like Dino Fury, I still feel like it's too juvenile to actually impress that general audience. Like, the characters still don't talk like real people. Like, I still feel like they talk down to the audience, and it's just not treating them with the respect that they deserve. Like, they think kids are dumb. And yeah, I mean, you have those that will argue that, well, it is a kid show, that's their target audience. Like, as a grown person, you're not their target audience. Well then, in that case, it can't just be a kid show then, because this isn't the same show that I watched 15 or 16 years ago when you had seasons like SPD where the Rangers weren't written to be like generic goody two-shoes. Like, they felt like real people because in the beginning, like, they all kind of hated each other. And throughout the course of that series, like, they had to grow and learn to respect each other as individuals. Where you have seasons like Dino Charge or Dino Fury where if one of the Rangers are even like slightly mean to each other, like, it turns into like some lesson of the day kind of crap. But look, the point I'm trying to make is Power Rangers as it is right now is reaching too young of a demographic, and that has to change. But I'm going to end this little rant right here. So what do you guys think about Amy Jo's tweet and the future of Power Rangers as a brand going forward? Let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to subscribe as well. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And this is me with Tokusatsu, signing off.